Hello, everyone. I am Dave, the prayer guy. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to watch this video. I greatly appreciate it. My vision is to fuel God's mission with prayer. That is why I do these videos, to teach, to encourage, and I also pray with others as well to kind of fuel God's mission in all its aspects. Whether you are a writer and you are writing to challenge people to follow Jesus, or you proclaim it with words and you talk to your family and friends, you're a pastor, missionary, or you're just the average church-going citizens who believe in Jesus and loves Jesus. I want to fuel your mission with prayer, and I want to encourage you to fuel God's mission with prayer around the world, in your local context and around the world as well. So today I want to talk about Nehemiah chapter 1. Now, this is a great story of prayer, and I've found it very helpful over the years to kind of go back and revisit and to talk about it. So let me talk about first the context of the story. When reading the Bible, when reading Holy Scripture, context is very important. Where does it fit in the overall story from Genesis to Revelation? Where does it fit in there? What's going on? What's happening with the characters? So let me start there. So we have... before this story, we have the exile, and we have stories of the exile of the Israelites away from the promised land for the time being. So you have that, and now you have people starting to come back. So the exiles from Israel are starting to come back to the Holy Land, starting to come back to Israel, and there are many people there, and many have returned. And some haven't returned. And Nehemiah is one of those individuals that haven't returned. He is still in the country of his exile. He is hearing about Jerusalem, and we learn about his heart for Jerusalem. His heart is broken when he hears what is happening. And he goes to prayer. He goes to fasting and to prayer. And so this is just so important that his heart breaks for Jerusalem, a place that I believe that he's never been to before, that has a special place in his heart because it's where his ancestors lived. And so he prays and he fasts. And this morning, so he mourns for it and he launches. And this is an amazing example for us to follow. Let me read Nehemiah chapter 1. Starting in verse 1. The words of Nehemiah, son of Helakalai. Hopefully I said that right. In the month of Kislev, in the 20th year, while I was in the citadel of Susa, Hanani, one of my brothers, came from Judah with some of the men, and I questioned them about the Jewish remnant that had survived the exile, and also about Jerusalem. They said to me, those who survived the exile and are back in the province are in great trouble and disgrace. The wall of Jerusalem is broken down, and its gates have been burned with fire. When I heard these things, I sat down and wept. For some days I mourned and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. And then I said, Lord, the God of heaven, the great and awesome God who keeps his covenant of love with those who love him and keep his commandments. Let your ear be attentive and your eyes open to hear the prayer your servant is praying before you day and night for your servants, the people of Israel. I confess the sins we Israelites, including myself and my father's family, have committed against you. We have acted very wickedly towards you. We have not obeyed the commands, decrees, and laws you gave your servant Moses. Remember the instructions you gave your servant Moses, saying, if you are unfaithful, I will scatter you among the nations. But if you return to me and obey my commands, then even if your exiled people are the farthest horizons, I will gather them and bring them to the place I have chosen as my dwelling for my name. They are your servants and your people, whom you redeemed by your great strength and your mighty hand. Lord, let your ear be attentive to the prayer of this your servant, and to the prayer of your servants who delight in revering your name. Give your servant success today by granting him favor in the presence of this man. I was cupbearer to the king. So when I think about this, I think about how we all have special places in our heart. You know, the place where we grew up, the place where we became a Christian, maybe the place you're currently living. I mean, I have many places that have special places in my heart. Um, there is the state of New Hampshire, and especially the town of Guilford, New Hampshire, where I grew up. There's the University of Maine, where I became a Christian. There is the town of Old Town, Maine, where I spent many years ministering with people with my church. And of course, there's also living in Sanford for a period of time. And all those places, they have a special place. And my heart yearns for them, and I pray for these places, and I ask God to intervene. And so I want to challenge you to be like Nehemiah. You might have a special place you've never been to. And I have a place like that myself. It's the country of Japan. It is special in my heart that God has given that to me to desire for that place. And so pray for it. Pray that God will do amazing things. And He will because of your prayers. He wants to answer the prayers of His people to really do amazing things in these places. And maybe because you read the rest of the story in Nehemiah, he does get the opportunity to go to Jerusalem. If there is a place that God has put on your heart that you've never been to, God might desire to bring you there. All right, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I hope it's encouragement to you. Go ahead, check out my other videos. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and as always, may the Lord be with you and God bless.